we haven't heard much, if anything, from Stefon Diggs since we saw him gesturing toward Josh Allen at the sideline of the playoff loss. Here he is from Super Bowl week with Dan Patrick. Dan's show follows us on Peacock, talking about that outburst. And let's pay very close attention to everything he says to see if we can find a thread on which we can pull to begin to understand exactly what he's looking for. Here he is.
We had a lot of ups and downs, and individually, just trying to keep things tied together. It was just some crucial moments in the year that, like late in the season, late in the fourth quarter, it was opportunities and we didn't take advantage of. So I feel like that last I guess series or that last play, when you saw frustration, it wasn't necessarily just that play, but those moments built up to it. I'll never apologize for passion, because we forget about this game, I guess. Like, and some people say like, oh, don't be a sore loser, or it's hard not to be frustrated. So for me, I always look at it as earlier in that season we had a real scare. We had something that we never thought we'll see. 99.9% the thing with DeMar. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of like put things in perspective for a lot of people, and it became real. That slim chance became real for everybody. We saw it. So it kind of seemed like we forget how much we're putting into this game until moments like that happen. And so when it's moments like where we lose and people try to tell you to be a good sport, or pat you on the back, like, this isn't Little League baseball. Nothing against Little League baseball.
That's a great perspective. The idea that what they witnessed and experienced and endured with Damar Hamlin, for Stefon Diggs, it sounds like his reaction to it, his way of processing it, was to say, look at what we give to this game. This is not a game. This is our life.
Yeah.
We put our life on the line for this game. So how this game goes, that's how our life goes as well.
Right.
That's how much we have into it. And I'm reading between the tea leaves, to use one of your Simmsisms that became just a catchphrase. I wonder if part of his frustration is that he believes everyone in the organization should have recognized that same obvious conclusion and acted accordingly the rest of the way, and didn't. He did, and not enough others around him didn't, including coaching staff. When he was talking about being in those situations in other games late in the year and not having it work out, the breadcrumbs are leading back to Ken Dorsey for me, Chris.
I hear what you're saying there, right? I mean, when you get into that type of stuff, and first off, wait, yes, Diggs is the kind of guy that lives it. He lives it. Like we talk about with a lot of great players. It is hard. It's your life. Damn, I haven't played in a quarter century, and I feel like it's still part of my life. I'm still in like a mindset of like, wait, I need to train. Oh, wait, I don't need to train and worry about what I eat today. I got nothing I'm playing for. I mean, he's obsessive. He is. And when you hear that right there, like, I understand what you're saying about Dorsey. And I do think maybe it falls on Josh Allen a little there too. I don't know. I mean, but it does sound like there's a guy there that is saying he wanted the ball more in some big moments late in football games. Like maybe like what he saw with Justin Jefferson get up in Buffalo. Maybe, hey, he was frustrated.
But not against the Giants.
Well, yeah, but force the ball to me, in moments of like clutch or big moments or that. Maybe that's what he's angry about. Maybe he feels like they didn't value him enough there, or maybe Josh Allen doesn't take enough chances and throw him the ball, and even when he's covered or not the best looks. Maybe that's what it stems from. I don't know. That's where I'm confused. You have that, Mike, and then on top of that too, another part of the cryptic tweet yesterday was the 6 years no phone calls. So that's where I'm just all over the place a little bit with the messaging from Stefon Diggs.
I wonder if his frustration toward Josh, if there is any. And again, Josh Allen said or acknowledged in not nearly the same way that the headline
that was
suggested.
Kind of a
acknowledged
BS
some
headline.
Responsibility.
Yeah.
He acknowledged something. I could have done some things better. I wonder if and I'm trying to do this in an analytical top-down way. Okay, let's just play this out. Stefon Diggs has an issue with the overall structure, design, implementation of the offense. Let's just assume that's the case. That's a frustration he has with the coaching staff. And obviously, Sean McDermott isn't designing, implementing, and executing the offense because he's not an offensive guy. That's all been delegated to Ken Dorsey first year in 2022 as an offensive coordinator. So they have this offense that they're running. And you know how some offensive coaches are. They want it done their way. Ken Dorsey, kind of an intense guy. Remember what he did after that game in Miami? And he blew a gasket and he's throwing shit around in the press box. And what the hell was that? So, I mean, maybe Dorsey is saying, this is it. This is my way. Do it my way. Do it my way. And maybe Diggs is thinking, well, it's got to, this is his first year. We kind of know what's going on down here on the field. Hey, Josh, you need to know when to listen, and you need to know when to, flash a middle finger up toward the press box area where Dorsey is and just do what's going to work. And I wonder if Diggs is frustrated that Allen was too deferential, that Allen was too robotic, that Allen was too committed to the playbook and doing what's expected of him and not getting Ken Dorsey upset with him, because Stefon Diggs is smart enough to realize, as the rest of us are, if it comes down to Allen versus Dorsey, Allen's winning.
Yeah, no, Allen, and I could see that, and sometimes it's a hard thing for a quarterback to cross that line a little bit, where hey, I'm playing quarterback, I'm doing what I'm coached to do, I'm doing my job, I'm doing all that, right? And you've been taught what's open, what's the right read, and all that. But there is a semblance in the game, a little bit of like, oh, well, I know this isn't the right read, but this guy's just awesome. I'm going to give him a chance, right? I think about Tom Brady with his experience with Randy Moss. That was the one thing he gushed to people about, and he just couldn't get over it, right? Because he wanted to make the right quarterback play, but he started to realize, like, the right quarterback play might be just to throw the ball 50 yards down the field and let this guy jump up over two people and go get it. It's unbelievable. And I think there's still, maybe some of that going on. At least that's what I sense a little bit here. There seems to be a lot. There really does. The more we talk about it, the more there seems to be an overall frustration maybe with, a number of things going on up there in Buffalo right now.
Well, and let's take it another step as we're talking about all-time greats. Peyton Manning just shows up and takes over. Hey, offensive coordinator, you're good. Go have a cigarette. I'll take care of this. And maybe he wants, and this is where I was trying to go earlier with Josh Allen. I'm, not leadership in the classic sense of the team, but that Peyton Manning, I'm him. We see Stefon Diggs say I'm him. Maybe he wants Josh Allen to act that way too. And he's trying to draw that out of him. Hey, Josh, you're a badass. Act accordingly, okay? Understand who you are. Understand what you do. We need swagger. We need somebody who's going to take over. We need a captain, because the people with their hands on the wheel are steering the boat into the rocks. You need to be the one to step up and take this thing over.
Well,
can't help but wonder, Chris, whether or not that's part of it.
Well, it could be, but I think, back to something you and I have beat to death is, I don't know, who takes over or who's more dependent on one guy taking over than the Buffalo Bills. Oh, it's 3rd and 4. We need somebody to run for a first down. Oh, Josh Allen, you do it. Scramble, make a play, run this way, run that way, set up over there, throw a laser over there. I mean, that's where, like, I hear what you're saying, but I also want to go, damn, I mean, he's closest to the greatest one-man show we got in the sport right now. So that's where that's a tough one. And that's where, Think about this. Yeah. Before this idea disappears as quickly as it popped into my head, I'm just trying to think of real world how stuff happens, okay? They have a game in December that doesn't go the way they want. Because he's saying to Dan Patrick that what happened at the end of the playoff game was a culmination of frustration. So let's say there's some random game in December, there's a drive that didn't work out, and they go to the sideline, and Stefon's like, man, I was open. I mean, 3rd and 7, and why'd you throw to Gabe? I'm open over here. And if Josh says, dude, I got to do the progression. It's the progression. You were next in the Gabe was a little open. Maybe you were a lot open, but the progression is I got to throw to Gabe if he's a little open.
And that's just how the friction can develop, right, Chris?
It can.
If
It
that's
doesn't
what
take
Josh
a
is
lot.
telling him, the message is, I'm not going to freelance. I've got to do the play that Dorsey's called, and it calls for me to look to Gabe first in this setting, and then I get to you. And I'm sorry, don't blame me. I'm just doing my job. I don't know if there is that frustration directed in any way, shape, or form to Josh Allen, that would be where the seeds of it get sprinkled.
Yeah.
If him saying, I'm sorry, that's what the play calls for. What do you want me to do? Well, what I want you to do is say, screw the play. I'm throwing to the best receiver on the field.
Yeah, no, and I don't, there's parts of my studies and filming them that goes on where I go, whoa, Diggs isn't supposed to get the ball right here in that cover 2 hole. This is, but Allen goes, I got a laser beam. I'll throw it in there. It's Diggs. Right? I mean, some of that goes on already. That's where it's like I get to the X's and O's part, and I just go, man, they feed him. He's the man. He's got a special thing here with this quarterback. I understand wanting more and wanting, the standard and them to play at a high level and get to the Super Bowl. But, yeah, that's where I get back to the original start of this conversation. I don't know exactly where this is going, where it came from, and why it all came about. I understand the frustrations at the end of the season, but I still think big picture thing, it just go, man, there's not too many better situations in football than the one you're in right now. Okay, maybe can you go to Kansas City and be the number 1 for the Chiefs and Mahomes right now? That's one better one. Okay. Other than that, I think we're going, you're in the best situation. And that's where, as a football player or ex-football player, I'm a little confused by it all.
This is one hell of a mess for the Bills to figure out. They have to exhaust all opportunities to try to get through to Stefon Diggs and solve this. And if they can't solve it, they have to ask themselves, what do we do? Do we play hardball with him like the Eagles did with Terrell Owens 18 years ago? That didn't work out well for anybody.
No.
Do we trade him? Who would we trade him to? What would we get? And are we comfortable taking that $31 million cap charge next year, knowing that we would also avoid his $28 million cap number? These are all things the Bills have to decide, and they have to decide them quickly, ideally by the time training camp opens. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.